Welcome to our deep dive. You ready for this?
I'm ready. Let's dive in.
Korean economic news from February 4th, 2025.
Sounds like a fascinating one.
It is. You've given us quite the mix this time.
Oh, yeah. Fill me in.
Global trade, domestic Korean business.
And
Some tech highlights, too. Things are really heating up.
heating up how?
Well, we're talking potential global trade wars.
Oh, boy.
The Korean economy is on a bit of a roller coaster.
A roller coaster, huh?
Yeah. And then there are major moves happening in the tech world.
I'm intrigued. Let's get into it.
Let's first up those trade war headlines.
Okay.
The U.S. is about to slap tariffs on EU goods.
Everyone's on edge.
It's a bold move.
Could definitely escalate things.
Already tense situation, right?
Excellent. Tariffs are basically taxes.
Taxes on.
Imports. The U.S. wants to protect its own industries.
But doesn't that usually backfire?
Often. Yeah.
Retaliation.
Exactly. The EU isn't known for backing down.
True. They've already said they'll respond.
Yep. With their own tariffs.
And that's where things could really get a full-blown trade war.
Nobody wins in a trade war.
Prices go up. Consumers feel the squeeze.
Global trade gets disrupted.
Bad news all around. This isn't the U.S.'s first time, though, is it?
First time with tariffs. Not at all.
They've already targeted Canada and Mexico.
Right. With tariffs on.
What kind of things?
Honey, tomatoes, whiskey, even refrigerators.
So our neighbors are getting hit with a tax on their margaritas and Bloody Marys?
Not cool at all.
Canada and Mexico are hitting back, though.
Of course. With their own tariffs.
Anything else?
Canada's gone a step further.
How so?
They filed a complaint with the World Trade Organization, and they're using the USMCA trade agreement to try and resolve things.
So they're trying to pressure the U.S.
Using international pressure and existing trade rules.
Enforce a change, of course.
Hopefully. So much global trade tension.
How's the Korean economy holding up?
Those articles were pretty grim.
Not good.
South Korea's in a consumption slump.
How bad is it?
Retail sales have plummeted. The worst decline in over 2 decades.
Impacts everything.
Cars, clothing, food, you name it.
The numbers were pretty shocking.
The worst decline since the 2003 credit card crisis.
Definitely a red flag.
And it's not a sudden thing either.
It's been going on for a while.
3 years this downward trend has been going on.
What's causing it?
Political turmoil, rising interest rates, persistent inflation.
People aren't spending.
Makes them less willing to.
So it's both internal and external pressures.
Squeezing the Korean economy.
And the government.
Trying to stay optimistic.
Stimulus measures.
Easing monetary policy. Trying to boost demand.
But will it be enough?
A lot of uncertainty. Businesses are already feeling the pain.
We saw those reports. Closures in the restaurant and gym sectors.
And the stock market's taking a hit.
All this uncertainty.
It makes investors nervous.
They pull back from companies.
That might be negatively impacted.
Leads to market volatility.
A ripple effect, hard to control.
Grim economic picture, for sure. But there was some intriguing news, too.
Intriguing how?
A new Samsung era and the rise of AI.
Ah, yes. Now things start to get interesting.
Samsung's chairman, Lee Jae-young,
He was quitted
of all charge
in that long-running legal battle.
He can finally focus on leading the company.
No time wasted either.
Meeting with big names in the tech world.
Like who?
Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI.
What do those meetings tell us?
A shift in strategy for Samsung.
Could be. More emphasis on innovation.
Specifically?
AI, remember the charges against Lee?
Illegal merger and accounting fraud?
Right. This acquittal removes that uncertainty.
He can pursue bold initiatives now.
And Samsung is huge.
Huge impact on the Korean economy.
Their success matters.
And Altman's on a mission of his own.
What kind of mission?
Building an AI alliance with Japan and Korea.
Almost like
a counterbalance to China.
China's growing influence in the AI sector.
Strategic partnerships for sure.
Securing a foothold in key markets.
Altman's already formed a joint venture with SoftBank in Japan.
And he's meeting with SK Group and Kakao in Korea.
Exploring collaborations.
A global AI race is shaping up.
With a lot at stake.
Yeah.
Then there's this Chinese AI startup.
Which one?
DeepSeek, making waves with their low-cost AI services.
Undercutting OpenAI's prices significantly.
Are they a real threat?
They're definitely a disruptor.
Their pricing is aggressive.
It's getting everyone's attention.
Can they maintain quality, though?
That's the question.
Okay.
Can they deliver?
And actually reshape the AI landscape.
Classic David versus Goliath story.
It'll be fascinating to see how it plays out. It seems this AI disruption isn't just theoretical.
What do you mean?
These articles about Hangzhou in China.
What about Hangzhou?
It's becoming a hotbed for AI and robotics.
Interesting, Hangzhou's positioning itself as a center, second-generation tech, focusing heavily on AI and robotics.
A strategic shift.
Absolutely. They're not trying to compete with places like Shenzhen.
Shenzhen was known for.
Hardware manufacturing, Hangzhou's aiming for the cutting edge.
So skipping a step,
Yeah,
jumping straight to the forefront.
you could say that. What kind of companies are we talking about?
Well, besides DeepSeek, there's Unitary Robotics
They're developing humanoid robots
at a fraction of the cost.
of Tesla's Optimus bot.
Their latest model, the G1.
It's getting a lot of attention, affordable, and potentially very useful.
A humanoid robot at half the price. That's a game changer.
If they can deliver on the technology, of course.
Any other companies worth noting?
Absolutely, Brain Co. They're developing prosthetic limbs,
Prosthetic limbs controlled by
brainwaves, and muscle signals.
a potential revolution in prosthetics.
Then you've got Deep Robotics, focusing on quadruped robots. Hikvision, a leader in AI-powered security solutions
It sounds like Hangzhou is becoming a magnet.
for AI entrepreneurs and innovators.
Is it just the companies themselves, though?
What else could it be?
Is there something else driving this growth?
The local government is playing a crucial role. They've created an ecosystem for AI to thrive. Dedicated industrial parks, financial incentives
They have a goal, too, don't they?
to attract 1,000 open-source AI companies
Right.
by 2027.
It's a comprehensive strategy.
It is. They're not just throwing money at the problem, though.
What else are they doing?
Leveraging the strong university network,
Like,
Zhejiang University, a steady stream of highly skilled graduates.
creating a talent pool.
Hangzhou's betting big on AI
Seeing it as strategically vital.
for the city and for China.
Speaking of China, we have to talk about the Panama Canal.
What about it?
Rising tensions with the U.S. control and influence there.
This is geopolitics in action.
Two ports near the canal are operated by
Oh.
a subsidiary of a Chinese company.
The U.S. is getting nervous. China's growing influence in the region, worried about the canal's neutrality.
And they're not being subtle about it.
What have they done?
The Secretary of State visited Panama,
Yeah.
urged the president to reduce China's influence,
Anything else?
suggested the U.S. might take control of the canal.
If things don't change, that's a bold statement.
Puts Panama in a tough spot,
They want to stay on good terms with both countries.
while protecting their own sovereignty.
A delicate balancing act.
What's their strategy?
The Panamanian president has been very clear, asserting their control over the canal.
The operating rights belong to Panama
Exactly. He's proposed a technical committee,
to address U.S. security concerns.
and he's promised to withdraw from China's Belt and Road Initiative.
A lot of juggling going on. Finding that balance seems to be a theme today.
What do you mean?
The U.K. is attempting a balancing act, too,
How so?
strengthening ties with the EU.
After Brexit?
Brexit hasn't been easy.
Facing economic headwinds.
Global instability making things tougher.
They're realizing collaboration is in their best interests.
It's a bit ironic.
Oh, so?
They leave the EU, then come crawling back.
Pragmatism often wins out.
In the face of economic realities.
Seems so. They're especially interested in working with the EU on
Hmm.
defense, energy, and of course trade.
Big question is
How will the EU respond?
mixed feelings about the UK's departure.
But also a recognition of the benefits of collaboration.
A potential new chapter. But lots of uncertainty.
Speaking of uncertainty,
The Korean economy.
those alarming retail sales figures.
Businesses are struggling.
It's a challenging environment,
Yeah.
the retail and service sectors especially,
Prolonged consumption slump, rising costs, global uncertainty.
forcing many small businesses to close.
But amidst all the turmoil,
There are signs of resilience.
really, what signs?
Look at Hyundai Leavart.
The furniture company.
They're actually thriving.
How?
Adopted a premium strategy focusing on high-quality, handcrafted pieces.
It's paying off.
While overall spending is down, there's still demand for luxury goods,
They're tapping into that market.
emphasizing craftsmanship and exclusivity.
So while others are cutting back, they're going upscale.
A bold move.
But is it risky
It's a calculated risk. Highlights the importance of adapting.
to changing consumer preferences?
Their Livartmeister collection is doing exceptionally well.
Especially.
Their high-end sofas.
They're investing heavily too, aren't they?
In R&D with their Meister Lab,
Developing new techniques and technologies.
they even imported advanced equipment used by global luxury brands.
They're not just riding out the storm. They're investing in growth.
Exactly. A tale of two economies playing out.
Some barely surviving,
Others seizing opportunities, thriving.
crisis or opportunity.
Likely both.
A roller coaster ride for sure.
But you're starting to see the connections.
How these seemingly disparate stories are all linked.
That's the power of a deep dive. Seeing the connections, the patterns, the underlying forces.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have global trade wars, AI advancements, geopolitical maneuvering.
It seems like every story is connected.
In some way, it's a complex web.
But fascinating, too.
Exactly. We see those global forces playing out.
Even in local events.
Like the Cheilsan-Jugong 8 and 9 redevelopment project.
Construction delays.
More than just delays.
What's going on?
Construction company, GS Engineering and Construction.
They're demanding a 10 billion won increase.
Citing rising material prices.
Because of
global events. The war in Ukraine, conflicts in the Middle East.
So global events are directly impacting.
The cost of building apartments in Korea.
It's putting pressure on the whole project.
Already facing financial constraints. Government regulations on apartment prices.
It's a microcosm of how global economic uncertainty
ripples through an economy, affecting businesses and individuals.
in unexpected ways.
Often. And speaking of unexpected impact,
The cryptocurrency market crash.
a prime example of how interconnected our financial systems are.
The cryptocurrency market.
Often seen as separate from traditional markets.
It took a nosedive.
After the U.S. tariff announcements,
There's a massive drop.
over 675 trillion won vanished.
In just a few days,
Investors got scared, fearing a broader downturn
they pulled their money out
out of riskier assets, like cryptocurrencies.
and moved towards more stable investments.
It's a reminder, even in the decentralized world of crypto.
Global events can have a huge impact. So we've got trade wars, economic uncertainty, a volatile crypto market.
What about Korea specifically?
Any light at the end of the tunnel?
The Korean economy is facing challenges, but there are signs of resilience.
We talked about the consumption slump,
Some sectors are doing better than others,
like those financial holding companies.
expecting record profits. While some businesses struggle, others adapt and thrive
The banking sector benefits,
from rising interest rates.
even as those rates make borrowing more expensive for others.
A complex situation.
Positives and negatives. So a mixed bag for the Korean economy. What's your overall outlook?
It's difficult to predict with certainty, but there are reasons for cautious optimism.
The government is using stimulus measures,
Easing monetary policy, trying to boost domestic demand,
and we're seeing companies like Hyundai Leavart,
innovating and finding success.
even during challenging times.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
Exactly. Constraints can lead to creative solutions.
The new Samsung era, a focus on technological advancement
There's hope for Korea's tech sector.
to drive economic growth.
It's amazing how these seemingly unrelated events
Are all connected, a complex web of cause and effect.
But what does it all mean for the average person listening?
That's the key question. How do these global trends and economic shifts affect our daily lives?
I'm still trying to process it all.
It's a lot to take in, but here are a few takeaways. Stay informed about these global trends, how they might impact your finances and career choices. Don't panic. Even in uncertainty, opportunities exist. Be adaptable. Be resourceful.
Knowledge is power.
Absolutely. The more you understand about these forces shaping the world, the better equipped you'll be to navigate them.
Great advice. So what's the one thing you want our listener to walk away with today?
We've seen how these global trends are impacting Korea, but how are they impacting your own country or region? What unique challenges and opportunities are emerging in your corner of the world? Think about it.
An excellent question to consider. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Korean economic news. We'll be back soon with another set of fascinating articles and insights. Until then, stay curious.